Imagine this. You're a 24-year-old working aboard luxury cruise ships, traveling the world and living the dream. Sounds perfect, right? Now imagine those cruises involve not one, not two, but 3 shipwrecks. That's the life of Violet Jessop, aka Miss Unsinkable, the woman who turned surviving maritime disasters into a full-time job. Let's start with her roots. Violet was born in 1887 in Argentina to Irish immigrants. Her childhood wasn't exactly smooth sailing. She was the eldest of 6 children, and life on the farm was tough. Then came tuberculosis. Doctors told her parents she wouldn't survive, but Violet didn't get the memo. Not only did she recover, but she went on to outlive, well, everyone she worked with at sea. By the time she was 23, Violet was working as a stewardess for the White Star Line. Her first major gig? Aboard the Olympic, a massive luxury liner that was the pride of the fleet. It all seemed glamorous until September 1911. That's when the Olympic collided with the HMS Hawke, a warship with a nose designed for ramming. The crash tore into the Olympic's hull, leaving it limping back to port with serious damage. Violet? She escaped unscathed, but it was only the beginning of her bad luck with ships. Fast forward to April 1912. Violet had just been assigned to the Titanic, a ship so famous that people still talk about it over a century later. At the time, though, it was just the Unsinkable ship, and Violet was thrilled to be part of its maiden voyage. She wasn't superstitious, but she did carry a prayer card given to her by an old Irish woman who claimed it would protect her from fire and water. A weird choice of words, but Violet didn't question it. 4 days into the voyage, Violet was lying in her bunk when the ship jolted. Passengers were surprisingly calm at first. Some joked, "Unsinkable, remember?" But it didn't take long for icy water to start flooding the lower decks. That's when chaos erupted. As part of the crew, Violet was tasked with helping women and children onto lifeboats. It was hectic. Families were clinging to each other, officers were yelling, and Violet was just trying to keep everyone calm. Then, out of nowhere, an officer grabbed her and threw her into Lifeboat 16. "Show them it's safe," he barked. And as if things weren't wild enough, someone tossed a baby into her lap, yelling, "Take care of this." Babysitting during a shipwreck? Just another day at work, apparently. Hours later, the Carpathia arrived to rescue survivors. Violet, clutching the baby, climbed aboard the ship only to have a woman snatch the child from her arms without even saying thank you. Violet didn't care. She was alive. She had survived the Titanic. Most people would call it quits after barely escaping death. Not Violet. 4 years later, she was working as a nurse for the British Red Cross during World War I. Her assignment? The Britannic, Titanic's bigger, supposedly safer sister ship. Spoiler alert, it wasn't safer. In November 1916, the Britannic was cruising through the Aegean Sea when it hit a German mine. The explosion ripped through the hull and the ship began sinking fast. Violet scrambled to find a lifeboat, but her bad luck wasn't done yet. The lifeboat she boarded was sucked toward the Britannic's massive propellers, which were still spinning. Realizing she was seconds away from becoming minced meat, Violet leapt into the water. Here's where it gets even crazier. She hit her head on the ship's keel during the jump and passed out briefly. Years later, doctors discovered she'd fractured her skull. Violet, being Violet, later joked that her thick auburn hair had saved her life. Oh, and yes, she survived this one too. Quick pause. If you're loving this story, don't forget to subscribe for more insane tales like this one. But wait, there's more. Before the Titanic and Britannic disasters, Violet's maritime misadventures began with the Olympic's collision. While the Olympic didn't sink, it set the stage for Violet's truly bizarre career as Miss Unsinkable. So let's recap. 3 major ship disasters, including 2 of the deadliest sinkings in history, and Violet walked away from all of them. At this point, you'd think she'd swear off ships for life. But no, she continued working at sea for decades. She even completed world cruises, calmly dodging any more shipwrecks. In her later years, Violet retired to a quiet life in England, spending her days gardening and reflecting on her incredible adventures. She passed away peacefully in 1971 at the age of 83. So what's the moral of Violet's story? Maybe it's that life will throw you into rough waters, but with enough grit and a bit of thick hair, you can get through anything. Thanks for watching Talescape. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for your daily dose of unbelievable stories. See you in the next one.